Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here, New Life Pentecostal Church, Albany, Georgia. I hope you're having a great day in Jesus. We're going to compare two of the better selling study Bibles in the United States today. And the Baker Illustrated, which is in CSB, and of course the NLT Illustrated Study Bible. Now, one of the first things you're going to be able to notice is, let's see if we can get it where you can notice it, is the Baker Illustrated seems to be a little bit thicker. We'll see maybe how many pages they are. Now, the NLT Illustrated I got is thumb indexed. I think that's because I got it on sale off of eBay. So I got one. We're just trying to see if we can see if it can really get the thickness. Which one is thicker? I think I may have to do, let's see if I can do it like this. Yeah. So you can, I don't know, see it goes up. It's not just straight across. Now it's not enormously thicker. We're probably talking 1/16 of an inch. And everything else is going to be, the Baker Illustrated is going to be about a 1/16 of an inch bigger, but you can tell it's bigger, which is interesting. Let's see how many total pages this thing is. This one is 2567 before we get into the maps. And then it's got some in-text maps. Boy, this is just good. I've done a review on both these Bibles individually, and seem to get some good viewership. So 2566. This is amazing. This is 2569. Then image credits, and then it's got map 16. It's got the most unique maps. We'll probably compare those. We'll go ahead and compare them now. This is just unique maps. So this is in the CSB Baker Illustrated Study Bible. They have over 100 full-color maps in the Bible itself. They're almost identical in page size. Show you the maps here, and then we're going to see if they're Smithsonian. So you can kind of see, this is basic, Tyndale maps. Baker and Tyndale. Tyndale is going to be in the Chicago area. Baker, of course, is going to be in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where they're going to be published at. Now let's see if they're both, if they're both Smithsonian here. Let's see. You can always tell, if you can't tell by looking at it, you can tell by if you open it up in Genesis. This is obviously Smithsonian. And this is Smithsonian as well. Very much Smithsonian. So let's just dive right in here. Show you what they both look like. They're both side column reference. It does look like the NLT Illustrated is going to have maybe more references. I'll try to do it like this, and then we'll switch it up. You might can tell by this little examination which is got the better print size. But we'll compare the size of the print in the text itself, the notes. Now, as far as the CSB and NLT go, what translation of those do I like best? I don't know. I mean, it's like asking me, do I like boiled okra or persimmons best? Because I'm not a big fan of either one, but I'd probably go with CSB. Mutter and peep. And so the first thing on the notes, the NLT is going to be tri-column at the bottom. The Baker Illustrated is going to be dual column. So just with that, usually, you're going to be able to fit more in the tri-column than the double column. As far as what is easier to read, both very easy to read. Let's just face that. excuse me, both very easy to read. As far as clarity, I'd say they're only like 7.5, 8-point print. They're not real big print in the notes. Now, there's some other sections like in the Baker that's colored sections that look bigger, and there's some in here, like behind the text, that look bigger as well than your basic notes. So, okay, also in the NLT, it's dual column in the text. In the CSB Baker Illustrated, it's single column in the text. The NLT looks darker in print, and so it's probably just easier to read. They say that the longer a line is, the harder it is to read, because you just keep reading, that your eyes naturally want to do like this instead of just like this. Now, your eyes may be different, but that's just what people who are really, we're living in the day that Daniel prophesied, knowledge has increased and exploded. People going to and fro, and that's just what they say. So I would say actually the NLT is a smaller Bible and also a little easier to read. Let's see, and boy, this has, see, the Baker has stuff, other flood accounts in the ancient Near East. See, I like stuff like that, and I've written things about that. Okay, but now look at this. When we say illustrated, okay, the NLT just hit a home run with these illustrations. I mean, let's just face it. It just did. That is just to show a land of milk and honey. You can't do much better than that. Now, who's going to have the most? I'll show you kind of a sample here. One of their illustrations. If I find a better one, it's just like picture the earth, the round earth. I know that will make some of you upset. Some of you are such flat earthers. And, I desperately am trying to give flat earth an honest look. And there's a lot of convincing things out there, such as how can we see? I've been Death Valley, and around Death Valley you can see Mount Whitney 120 miles away. Should that be possible with the curvature of the earth, on and so forth? But there's a lot of convincing evidences for a circular earth too. He who sits on the circle of the earth, spherical earth. Okay, so here's another, I'll show you another in text. Look, and this is the NLT Illustrated. Appreciate Brother Mallory zooming in and out. Now I'm just going to tell you, just for the bottom line, I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag. As far as how things look and stuff, the NLT Illustrated is great. They both probably have really close to equal amounts of information. The NLT Illustrated may have a little more information, and it's more readable, but the Baker Illustrated has the type information I like, because I'm into history, I'm into archaeology, I'm into these type things. I'm into cultural understanding of what was going on. Let's see, that has good. I will tell you another place that maybe they have more in. It looks like they have chapter headers, but not in-text paragraph headers, where the CSB Illustrated Baker has in-text paragraph. But I've held a place here just because I want to show you another fabulous job in the NLT Illustrated. We're going to go back to Genesis. Is just such a bellwether of, you can almost get a feel for how the entire Bible is going to be, whether it's conservative, liberal, any number of things, by the introductions. So let's just take a quick look at the introduction to Genesis. Genesis, authorship. Moses' name does not appear in the book of Genesis as it does the other 4 books of the Pentateuch, nor is it another author identified. For that reason, strictly speaking, Genesis is an anonymous book. There's no real problem with acknowledging this, for the majority of the books in the Old Testament are anonymous. Who wrote Kings? Who wrote Judges? We don't know. The present, so many anonymous. Okay, so while some scholars hold to the documentary hypothesis to explain the authorship of the first 5 books of the Bible, Jewish and Christian tradition alike have attributed these books to Moses. See the article Who Wrote the Pentateuch, or to possible evangelical explanations for the origin of Genesis in particular. Existed as tablets, Moses a compiler. Now, see, Jesus saying that he wrote the Pentateuch really settles it for me. I'm just seeing last century, JEPD. All right, the documentary hypothesis is significantly undermined. Okay, so let's see here what it says in NLT. So it tries to be conservative in the Baker. Baker can print some pretty liberal books, let's just face it, but they can print some amazing stuff as well. Pentateuch, Moses. Most scholars, however, do not accept that Moses wrote Genesis. The prevailing critical view, called the documentary hypothesis, is that Genesis was compiled from various sources by different groups of people. If such approaches, there is seldom a word about divine revelation or inspiration. For those who understand the Bible as God's inspired word, such theories often seem unnecessary, complicated, and conjectural. Conjecture being the key term there. Genesis can be understood much more straightforwardly as the product of Moses' genius under God's inspiration with later editorial adjustment, which that would comport much better to what I believe. I don't believe in editorial adjustment either. So let's go to in between these Bibles. Let's see what's in here. In between Malachi. Let's just say the NLT did an incredible job. Let's get between Malachi and Matthew. So what happened between the 2 testaments? I'll show you the Baker first, then I'll show you the NLT, and then we'll go to some back matter. Okay, so this is the CSB Illustrated, which I think, if my understanding is right, selling very well, with good reason. It's just got a lot of good stuff in there. A lot. So now we'll go to the NLT, and I think you'll be able to quickly see the difference. I got this at NLT really on sale, but it's because it's obvious it's a second from Tyndale. There's a miscut in a few of the pages, which I care nothing about that because I use these for study, not for cosmetic perfection. Yeah, I think you can tell a little difference between the NLT and the Baker. I mean, the NLT just shines there. Just really good. So, get to the New Testament, Gospels, Matthew, Acts. It's got a good timeline. I love timelines. A lot of good stuff. Neither one are going to be red letter. It looked like I was seeing, yeah. Now see, in some of these, the NLT has the in-text headings, paragraph headings. Maybe it's just a New Testament phenomenon, or maybe they just like the flow of Genesis. We were just checking out Genesis. But let's go to the back of the Bible. We've already checked out the maps. Let's see what's in the back of the Bible here. Back of the Bible. Oh man. See, it's got like pictures of all the Roman emperors from 27 BC to 96. Oh, Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula. I mean, it's got their actual stone, pictures. Okay, after the apostles. See, look at this. It's just got good stuff in here. Look at all this. This is going to be found in the back. So we'll go to the back. We'll take you all the way through the back here. I mean, that's just good stuff here. It's got more pillars of the Christian faith, reference materials, word studies, table of ancient measures, Hebrew word studies. See, look at all this. Decent print, readable print. I mean, I'll just tell you, basically, the NLT Illustrated is probably just a little better. But that is not to undermine the Baker at all. It's just a little better of a study Bible. It's just excellent. Notes, index. So that way, it's alphabetized, like you can look up Gideon, it'll tell you all the notes, where the notes are on Gideon. And then here is their vast concordance that's very clear. Just a very good concordance. So this is the NLT Illustrated Study Bible, which again, I'm not a fan of the NLT translation at all, but if somebody like me, that I'm just a King James guy, I've done a video on my King James only. I think I'm just King James best, King James preserved Word of God. I'm not positive what only means, because I think that God can preserve His Word in other languages as well, and Hebrew and Greek and other, it's not limited to King James, so I don't think I'm King James only. But I would just use this, obviously, as for study notes. So let's go to so you open up here with basically a table of weights and measures, and then get right into the concordance. So the NLT is just going to have more back matter. It's just going to have more. No doubt about it. And then we've already compared the notes. The Baker has notes, so, excuse me, the maps, not notes. The has a unique map section. So, I mean, overall, as far as the information I'm going to like the Baker information probably a little bit over the NLT. Basically, in every other way, the NLT is going to be superior, as far as just size, as far as bells and whistles, a lot of neat stuff. But they're both really good study Bibles. So just study that Bible. God bless. Talk with you later in Jesus' name.